Hello, these are the answers for the homework on page 181. So just run through these quick. 2 to the third times 2 to the second, like base is being multiplied, you just add the exponents, so you get 2 to the fifth. You could make 2 to the fifth 32 because 2 times itself 5 times is 32. Problem number 2, you get 2 to the third raised to the second. So I'm going to multiply those exponents. So that's going to give me 2 to the sixth. Number 3, I get 3 to the second plus 4 to the second. Well, those are just adding, so I get 9 with that and 16 here, so that gives me 25. Number 4, 3 plus 4 squared. Well, let's add what's inside first. So I'm going to get 7 squared, which is 49. Number 5, we get negative 6 quantity squared. So that means I'm squaring negative 6 times negative 6, which is positive 36. But please note on this one, I have negative 6, which is not in parentheses, so this has an answer of negative 36 because the negative does not get affected by the squared. 7, 8, 9, and 10, you can skip over. Don't worry about those. Number 11, y to the fifth times y to the third. Like bases, add the exponents, so you get y to the eighth. Number 12, x to the fourth times x to the sixth. Like bases, go ahead and add the exponents, so that's x to the 10th. Number 13, c to the sixth times c. Well, c is also to the first, so it becomes c to the seventh. Number 14, skip. We have a negative exponent. Well, we could actually do that one. Y to the negative 2, y to the 7, y to the third. We're going to add these, so that gives me 5, and that gives me 8. So y to the 8th is that answer. Number 15, I get x to the fourth raised to the third. Multiply the exponents, that's x to the 12th. Number 16, I get x to the fourth raised to the sixth. Multiply the exponents, so I get x to the 24th. Number 17, I get y to the negative 2 times negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6 when you multiply the exponents. And number 18, I get c raised to the 1/2 power. Yeah, an exponent could be a fraction. So that means I add the exponents. So that's going to give me 3 plus 2 over 6, which is 5 to the 6th. So my answer is c to the 5/6 power. Number 19, I have 3x to the fourth times 8x to the sixth. Multiply the outside numbers, that gives me 24. Like bases, add the exponents, x to the 10th. Number 20, we get negative 3x to the 11th times 4x to the 15th. So if we multiply the outside, I'm going to get negative 12. Add the exponents, so 11 plus 15 is 26, so negative 12x to the 26th. 21, we get 3x to the fourth times 5x to the negative 6 times 2x to the 7th. Let's multiply everything outside. So that's going to give me negative 15. Then negative 15 times 2 is negative 30. Add the exponents. So that's going to give me negative 2. And if I add that, I get to 5, because negative 2 plus 7 is 5. So negative 30x to the fifth. Number 22, we get x to the third times 4x to the negative 3 times negative 2x to the 7. So that's going to give me x to the 0. 0 plus 7 is 7. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So negative 8x to the 7th power. Number 23, I get x squared y to the third times x to the fifth y to the second. These are like bases, so we add the exponents. 2 plus 5 is 7. Like bases being multiplied, so we can go ahead and say that's y to the fifth. Number 24, we get 5xy times 2x squared y to the third. Realize those are both the first, so 5 times the 2 is going to give me 10. X to the first times x, x to the third. Y to the first times y to the third is y to the fourth. Number 25, I'm going to get 5x squared quantity squared times 2x to the sixth. So let's take care of this first. 5 squared, that's 25. Power to a power, multiply the exponents, that's x to the fourth times 2x to the sixth. 25 times 2 is 50, and x to the 10th when we add the exponents. And the last problem, number 26, we get 2x squared to the third times 3x to the third quantity squared. So let's take care of 2 to the third 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Multiply the exponents, that's x to the sixth, times 3 squared is 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. Multiply the exponents, that's x to the sixth, then 8 times 9 is 72, x to the sixth and x to the sixth being multiplied together, add the exponents, x to the 12th. Okay, go ahead and turn to the next page for the notes. We're going to cover a couple more rules today. Okay, so those are all the rules. We're going to focus on these three. So power to, when I have a fraction, when I have something raised to the 0 power, and if I have a negative exponent, what happens, okay? So think about this one. I have x times itself 6 times the top bottom. So let's do the game called tug of war. We're going to tug between the top and the bottom. Who wins, top or bottom? Well, the top wins by 2. That's my answer. Okay, you could put it over 1 if you wanted to. So also think of another way. This is one way to think about it. I got 6 on top, I got 4 on bottom, and then just start canceling top and bottom. Then I'm left with xx, which is x squared. Okay, so the 2 is going to stay there. Tug of war between top and bottom. Who wins, top or bottom? Well, the top by how many? 3. There's my answer. We can reduce 6 and 9. 3 goes into both, so I get 2 over 3. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins, top or bottom? Well, the bottom. How many does the bottom win by? 2. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins? Well, the top. By how many? 2. There's my answer. Number 3, we're going to go ahead and reduce. 6 goes into 12 twice. Tug of war with the x's. That's x to the first. Who wins between the top and bottom? Well, the top by 1. Tug of war with the y. Who wins, top or bottom? Well, the top by 4. Tug of war with the z's. Who wins? They just cancel each other out. They're gone. So basically, you're just subtracting, but you can use the tug of war, between the top and the bottom. It still works as well. Okay, so now when we have something raised to the 0 power, the answer is 1. So what's kind of goofy, you could get a huge problem like 4x to the third, y to the 7th over z to the third. If the whole thing's raised to the 0 power, the answer is 1. So you might see that on a quiz. So think about this. I have a whole quantity, everything is grouped here, raised to the 0 power, the answer is 1. If I multiply these exponents, 0 times 6 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, x to the 0 becomes 1. So anytime I see x raised to the 0 power, the answer is 1. Okay. The only thing that doesn't work is 0 to the power. 0 to the 0 is undefined. And I don't know if you'll actually see that or not, but just so you know, that's the only thing that to the 0 power that doesn't come out to 1. Okay, so 4 to the negative 2. So think about this. Can I rewrite this problem to look like this? The answer is yes. Well, when you have a negative exponent, it means that whole quantity wants to move down. So I'm going to have 4 to the second that moves down. Well, a number I have to put for a placeholder is 1. So then I get 1 over 4 to the second. Well, 4 to the second is 16, so I get 1 over 16. So negative exponents want to move from top to bottom. So the only thing that has a negative exponent is the x to the third. So the 3 stays on top, the x to the third moves to the bottom. So let's take a look at this big one. Okay, 5 over 10, I get a 2 on bottom because this reduces. Tug of war with the x's, who wins? Well, it's a tie. They cancel. And then look, I have y to the third on negative 3 on bottom, y to the second. So I have y to the third now on top, y to the second on bottom. And we're going to tug of war here in a moment. We can take care of the z's, tug of war between the z's, who wins? Well, the bottom wins by 2. Now let's take care of our y's. Tug of war with the y's, who wins, top or bottom? Well, the top wins by 1, so I can put y, or I can put y to the first if I want to, over 2y squared, z squared. And there's my answer. So a negative exponent, this wants to move up or down, depending upon where it's at. Okay, let me add a page. So let's say I had something like this. This is going to become x to the third times x to the second, which is x to the fifth. See how this moved up? It joined it up there. Okay, so anytime you have a negative exponent, it'll move up or down. Okay, would you take a look and complete, I think you could easily do page 185 and 186. And looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're actually substituting in A's and B's. They tell us they're equal to numbers, so just put them in and do the math. But ask me if you have any questions. Happy to help you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.